The root of Chinese Qigong. Raising the Shen. Yang means to nourish, to raise, or to nurse. Yang Shen has to be the main task for scholars and Buddhists in their training to regulate the Shen. Shen needs to be nourished by Qi. Normally, the fire Qi, which comes from food and air, is able to raise the Shen easily. However, this fire Qi also increases emotional disturbance and therefore leads the Shen away from its residence. Using your Yi, which is nourished by the water Qi, to raise your Shen is harder. However, if you are able to do it, this Shen can be stronger and more concentrated than when you use the fire Qi. In Qigong practice, you are learning how to adjust your Xin and Yi to raise your Shen. If you are able to use your Xin and Yi properly, your Shen will be raised but not excited, and it will be able to remain at its residence. Learning how to raise the Shen the right way is almost like raising a child. You need a great amount of patience and perseverance. One way to raise a child is to help him restrain his attraction to the 7 emotions and 6 desires. Another way is to let him keep this contact with his human nature, yet educate him and help him to develop his wisdom so that he can make clear judgments. It is a long process and demands a lot of understanding and patience. In Qigong, raising the Shen is not a question of increasing your emotional excitement. This would scatter the Yi and your Shen would become confused and lose its center. Yang Shen training builds a strong center for your spirit and helps the spirit take control over a large part of your life. Keeping the Shen in its residence and training it. After raising your Shen, you must learn how to keep it at its residence and train it. As with a child of a certain age, you must be able to keep his mind in the family instead of staying outside and running wild. Then you will be able to educate him. In Qigong training, to keep and train the Shen includes 4 major steps. To protect the Shen, Shu Shen. Shu means to keep and to protect. The very beginning of training involves learning how to keep your Shen at its residence. While it is relatively easy to raise your spirit, it is much harder to keep it in its residence. In Shu Shen training, in order to keep the Shen in its residence, you must use your regulated mind to direct, to nurse, to watch, and to keep the Shen there. It is just like keeping your child at home instead of letting him leave home and run wild. You must be patient and control your temper. Regulate your mind. You can see, therefore, the first step in regulating your Shen is to regulate your Xin and Yi. If you lose your patience and temper, you will only make the child want to leave home again. Only when you have regulated your Xin and Yi will you be able to watch and to keep your Shen effectively. To firm the Shen, Gu means to solidify and to firm. After you can keep your Shen in its residence. You then learn how to firm and solidify it, Gu Shen. Gu Shen means to train your Shen to stay at its residence willingly. After you are able to control your child in the house, you must make him want from his heart to stay. Only then will his mind be steady and calm. Naturally, in order to reach this stage, you will need a lot of love and patience to educate him until he understands how important it is for him to stay home and grow up normally and healthily. Qigong training operates on the same principle. The second step of Shen training is to make the Shen willing to stay in its residence. In order to do this, your mind must be able to regulate all emotional thoughts. Only then will your Shen be able to stay in its residence in peace. To stabilize the Shen, Ding Shen means to stabilize and to calm the Shen. When you have brought your child into the stage of peace, you will not be as excited by and attracted to the outside emotional distractions. In regulating your Shen, you must learn to calm down the Shen so that it is energized but not excited. Then the mind will be peaceful and steady. To focus the Shen, Ning Shen. Ning means to concentrate, to refine, to focus, and to strengthen. You can see from the above 3 processes that keeping, firming, and stabilizing are the foundation of the cultivation of your Shen. It is like a child who is able to stay at home willingly with a calm and steady mind. Only then will you be able to teach and train him. In Qigong, once you have passed these three initial steps, you will learn to condense and to focus your Shen in a tiny spot. The condensing the Shen stage is where you can train the Shen to a higher spiritual state. When the Shen is focused in a tiny point, it is like a sunbeam which is focused through a lens. The smaller point, the stronger its beam. Combining Shen with the breathing. After the Shen has been trained to a higher degree, you can put it to work. The first assignment for your Shen is coordination with your breathing. Remember, in Qigong training, your breathing carries out your strategy. When this strategy is directed by your Shen, it will be able to obtain maximum results. This is called Shen Zi Jiangyi, which means the Shen and the breathing are mutually dependent. In Qigong training, this is called Shen Zi, which means Shen breathing. At this stage, your Shen and breathing have united into one. When you have accomplished this, your Qi will be led most efficiently, naturally. This is not an easy task. In order to reach this stage, you must have regulated your body, breathing, and mind. Combining Shen with Qi. The last stage of regulating Shen for health involves learning to use the Shen to direct the circulation and distribution of Qi in the most efficient way. In Qigong society, this stage is called Shen Qi Jiangyi, which means the Shen and Qi combine together. In a battle, if the spirit of the soldiers is kept high, their fighting ability and efficiency will be increased, and the strategy will be carried out more thoroughly. Obviously, cultivating your Shen is a long and painstaking process. There is no limit to Shen cultivation. The more you refine it, the higher it is able to go. In religious Qigong training, the final stage of regulating the Shen is to train the Shen to separate from the physical body. In order to reach this goal, you must first accomplish the preceding 4 phases of training. Only when your Shen and Qi are combined will the Qi nourish the Shen so that it grows and matures. We will discuss this subject in a later volume. Next, we have Chapter 14, Important Points in Qigong Practice, which includes common experiences for Qigong beginners. The mind is scattered and sleepy, feeling cold, numbness, soreness and pain, half of body feels hot, headache and eye ache, trembling body, warm and hot sweat, fright, difficulty sleeping, coughing, sexual excitation. So it's basically sensations experienced while meditating with Qigong practice. Cool. That's all. Thank you. Bye.